them a link and you a link to it. It's going to be on YouTube, but it's private. The only ones that'll be able to view it are you. You'll be able to view yours, and she'll be able to view hers. Okay, because I'm going to give you that link, but that's where they'll be. And I found that's a lot easier because sometimes trying to send them over email, there's issues. People can't get them to download right because they don't have enough store, whatever. So that's where they are. But please know that they are private. So the only ones that'll be able to see it, although it is on my channel, it will be you. Okay. So what I'm going to start with is we're going to do the 7 breaths, and we'll take breaths in and then we'll hold them and then release them. But we're going to do it together. And that's going to kind of allow me to be able to sync up with each other. Okay. Then I will finish with that. I'll go right into a prayer. And then after the prayer, I'll give you exactly what they're showing me at that time. And usually that's like the most important component of what they want you to know. I will not remember this a half hour after I'm done with it. That's why I'll record it. I'm going to record it for you. There's no dumb questions. There's only questions. There's no judgment, and there's never judgment from spirit either. So whatever questions you want, just ask. And I don't care. And some people say, well, can you read my mind? No, I can't read your mind. That's not how it works. So, and if you have a question, just go ahead and ask it. I'll keep going and I'll say, okay, questions, and you can kind of steer it what way you want to go. Just remember that if I do start before you finish your question, they've already heard your question up here. So it's not me being rude. It's them coming through and giving you that answer. Okay. Any other questions before we start?
Nope.
All righty. Let me get a drink. Water, just water. All right. So I got that. All right. Here we go. Okay. I want you to just kind of relax a little bit. Relax your shoulders, your neck. And I just want you to take a very big, deep breath in. Hold it. Release it. For the north, deep breath in. Hold it. Release it. For the south, deep breath in. Hold it. Release it. For the east, deep breath in. Hold it. Release it. For the west, deep breath in. Hold it. Release it. For above, deep breath in. Hold it. Release it. For below. One last breath in. Hold it. Release it. For within. I might warn you as well, I have birds. I have a lovebird on each side of me, and I have an African gray behind me, and Budgie's in the corner. Okay. I apologize ahead of time. They talk, they yip. They don't be quiet, but it's okay because they're adding energy, right? Okay. I call to the sacred winds to carry my words to the ancestors of the north, the south, the east, the west, above, below, and within. I call to the sacred winds to carry my words to the winged ones, the four-leggeds, the plant people, the crystal keepers, the angelic realm, to my brother Christ, to Mother Mary, to Magdalene, and to all the spirit realm that has walked with us or before us as we've walked the human. I ask that you bring us infinite amounts of healing energies so that we both can store them in infinite amounts and use them as we see fit in the days ahead. We thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us to this day and beyond. And I honor you. Aho. Okay, so one of the first things, and I was actually getting it, I know, Mango. I was first getting it actually when we started doing the breath. And I got this like symbol, and it was a red sun, but it's like a drawing, okay? So it's just, or like a decal, right? So it was just a red sun, and the rays were like lines, and the lines were all red, and they were going to the west. They were facing the west. None of the rays were on the right side, which is facing east. what this indicates to me is there's a lot of things that are going on with you that you need to have closure with, that you need to address, especially as we're coming into the winter months, because everything about winter is we're going to seed the things like plant things, that we have in our heads, ideas, goals, whatever, during that winter time. And then what they do is they start like generating, right? So that when spring comes, it'll be all ready to come up. But what I'm seeing is you've got a lot of stuff that you actually have to sort of deal with, and clean up. So it's like fall cleanup, right? Cleaning up the leaves, getting it ready, so you're getting all that junk out of the way. And this is about don't drag stuff forward with you. You're not going to lose it. You're not going to feel guilty. You don't have to feel guilty. The events or the people or whatever that were behind you, leave the trauma or the experiences from them behind you, because what it does is you kind of we put that in our proverbial toolkit. Okay, life experiences are given to us as like lessons, but the way we cope with them or we don't cope with them, those are our experiences, and that's what goes into the toolkit. So when we have similar events or similar people or similar things that pop up as we're walking forward, we know how to address them or we know how not to address them, right? Okay. So it's okay to kind of just clean that out a little bit, because it's like you're carrying this great burden that you don't need to carry, okay? But you really do need to look at it, and they're actually showing me you looking into a mirror and turning away. So they want you to really look at it. It's not going to hurt you. Things can make you cry, things can make you laugh, things can make you mad, but you still need to look at them, okay, and look at yourself so that you can clean that all out and you can be your best you, okay? And spirits behind you, they've got you. I have like people that would be your parents' grandparents, so like great grandparents, I guess, would be you. Though that kind of people in spirit are around you. A lot of that is that kind of age old word they're using is age old, right? Age old knowledge, age old healing, old age kind of just coming in for a hug because they've lived so much longer than we have. So they're bringing that to you that you can ask for assistance or ask to be shored up by them because they've got you. And one of the things they're also telling me right now is there's a lot of times you're feeling missed, you're feeling lost, you're feeling alone. Even though you've got people around you, there's part of you that just isn't sure about things, about life things, about being able to look in the mirror and say, hey, did I do good? Well, yeah, you did good. You're fine. None of us are perfect. We're all imperfect, which makes us all fit. And they want you to see that because a lot of the stuff they're showing me that is kind of being hung on to is shoulda, coulda, woulda with you. And shoulda, coulda, woulda isn't going to serve you now. It's just going to be lessons and that experience so that perhaps you do it differently when it happens, a similar situation comes up. But you got to let go of the shoulda, woulda, did, shoulda, woulda, coulda. You got to lose that. And that's how it was that fast. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Okay. And I know that that's sometimes very difficult. I used to look back, even with my own family, like my daughter and myself, we're it. My parents are gone, her grandparents are gone, my brothers are gone, my sister's gone, all that's gone. So we're it, right? So we have to be okay with that. And they're fine with that. When they go to spirit, they're fine. And I give you very big condolences about the loss of your sister. But what they keep telling me is she's fine, she's fine, she's happy, she's fine. She did what she was supposed to do while she was here, and that's why she left when she did. But now it is your time to, and I'm actually, she's like, I got goosebumps right now my arms, and she's like around me. Now is now is your time. So now is your time to do your things, okay? To be a focus, not to have distractions, to become a family that you guys haven't been yet. But you have to be open to that. And I think, oh wow, woo! I hate that when but it's your sister, so I know her, but it's like, I hate that because it just gives me goosebumps and it's like chills. It's like if you walk from a hot place out to a very cold,
Yeah.
you know how you get that's what they do. And it's like, she's right up on me. You have to make yourself a family unit because that's important to all of you. And you've all got your own issues with self that you've kind of closed yourself off because of the condition your sister was in for her life. And oh, it's just love. It's just love being sent. But she wants you guys to know that this is your time. So you need to, y'all need to, but you need to as well, clean out the closet, let go of the guilt. There's no guilt to be had. There really isn't. It's all self. And what it is when we feel, you hear them all yelling because they know somebody's in the room with me. That's what they do. So it's, you have to take care of you before you can take care of others. But if you carry that guilt and you keep adding that negativity to it, or fear, right? Like, oh, you know, what's my life going to be? Blah, 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 blah. You add fear to something, then that brings in more issues for yourself. Okay. So you have to start, and she, pointing at the mirror and pointing at you. And it's like, you have to look in the mirror and know what a beautiful person you are, and know what a beautiful sister you are, and how much she loves you. And I mean, I don't have hair, so I've just got goosebumps up and down right now. But that's what that's the message. You didn't fail her. None of you failed her. She was here to do a life that she chose to come in and do, and she did it, and it was her time. That's what she contracted for. Now it's your time to become again, to be who you're supposed to be seen. Okay. She's like, to be seen as a good person that you are, to be able to accept everything good, bad, or indifferent for yourself that you may not think you're living up to. You're living above what you should be doing. Okay. So let all that fear, let all that anger, and I'm feeling there's like turmoils of little bits of anger here and there over different things, over even like with connecting with each other. It's kind of like well, you said I could, well, you're doing this, I can't believe you, you know, and it's like bickering back and forth. And you guys, you need to go in and get rid of that anger, dispel that anger, and just understand you're in a new day, you're in a new moment, right? You can't go back and change anything. You can't go back and do anything differently. You can't go back to address issues that you think you have. You don't have any with your sister. Okay. The things that you have are things that you were holding that were based on how you viewed things. And they're not devaluing that. Okay. The spirit's like not devaluing that at all, because we all feel the way we feel, right? But we have to remember we're responsible and in charge of our own self. You know, no matter what anybody tells us, we're the ones that actually have to do, say, move that way, let go that way, whatever. And there's no book on this that tells you this is the exact way you have to do it. It's not. Honor that anger, honor that fear, honor that love, honor that frustration, whatever it is. Look at it, deal with it, so it doesn't continue to build. And it's like, she just went like this, like clean slate, like just get rid of it. There's nothing there. It's all here. You have to come from here, and you have to let it go.
Okay.
It's interesting to me too, because she wasn't very struck. She was more concerned about the dog with your mom than
so it was her. It was her with the dog.
Oh yeah, she came through with the dog, but that's all she cared about was the dog. She didn't want to talk to your mom. It wasn't about that, because she's fine, right?
Yeah.
Right now though, she's like right on top of me, behind me, like hands on my shoulders. This is for you to know. She's whole. She's happy. She loves you. She loves your brother. She loves your mom. She's good. So now you have to be good. Each one of you have to work with each other to find that commonality to become the family you haven't been yet. And you have plenty of time to do that. But you need to start. And starting means looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? Yeah, this happened, or I felt this way, or I didn't feel this way, or remember some fun things, right? Just different things. But you need to let it all go, because if you're dragging all this trauma, anger, grief, everything forward with you, it stifles what you can accomplish. It stifles positives from coming into your life. It doesn't make it a good place to be, because it makes you depressed. It makes you sad. And I've done this, so I'm not talking like it doesn't exist, because it does, and you have to honor that. That's all. You have to honor it. My partner died. I didn't cry for 3 years. She dropped dead. I didn't cry. I just didn't. I knew it. Her kids are like my kids. They come to visit me, but I didn't grieve it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally did grieve it, it took me like 2-3 days to come out of that, because there's no set way to process stuff. It's up to you. There's no book that says you have to be done with this today, but you do have to start addressing it. You do have to start processing it in some way, because you don't want to be anchored to a spot and be so bitter. And that's the word I'm hearing, is bitter, because things didn't really happen the way anybody wanted them to happen. It's not your fault. It's a situation. Now you need to start doing the work on self. And what's going on, because I'm seeing like this big switch being turned, like there's a change coming in. I want to say like almost like work or something big is going to be coming in, because I'm seeing like a switch turn, like just completely cranked, so that it's a new something coming in, but it's a positive thing coming in, but it's going to be like night and day. That's what I'm being heard. Night and day. It'll be like night and day. Nothing bad, only positive. But yeah, you have to, this is the main focus, is like in the mirror. This is what I'm getting. They're actually doing this to me. Like, look in the mirror and love yourself. You know how hard that is to do for some people? It's really hard. And it's hard when things change and then you feel guilt or other stuff that you got going on, or anger, or whatever. It's really hard to look in the mirror and say, I love you. I love that person looking back at me. So if you're not quite there yet, start with, I like that person looking back at me, okay? Because you have to start somewhere. But it's like what I'm being shown is like muck. You're standing in, you ever go out in the woods or anything and you step in, like it's muck, okay? It's like where water used to be, or like something came through and it was really wet and it gets really gooey. And when you step in it, I actually lost a boot in it because I didn't know I stepped in it till I did. And I went to pull my foot up and I couldn't get so I had to pull my foot out of the boot while somebody was holding me over here to pull me. And I lost my boot because it was in the muck and we couldn't reach it to get it out. So this is what they're showing me. If you need to start this work for this reason, because otherwise what's going to happen is all through the winter time, that's where you're going to be. You're going to be in this place of, you'll be okay for a while, during the day, but then all of a sudden you hit a low patch and you just kind of let that low energy come in. And you don't need that low energy. You need to be balanced and have good energy come in, and you're in control of that. Okay, questions? Woo, she was full of stuff.
No, not really. I'm not sure what the job thing is, because I just got a job extension for my internship. So I'm not really sure what that's
maybe that's what they're saying. It's a switch, it's a change, it's something good. I said it's not anything bad. That could very well be it. But I also think that there's going to be networking within this internship that you have, that you're going to be able to look forward with it because of the networking and the connections you're going to have. And it's like, you see the phone commercials? where they show, like, what is it, like, I don't even know that name, Boost Mobile or whatever, right? And they show we're 5G, whatever, and they show that pink button and they have all these lines going out, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're showing me for you. You're going into a place and you're going to make all these connections all over that'll be good for you. And you'll be the one that'll pick which plan you want. Somebody just let her pick her own plan, you know? So, yeah, that's the way they convey things. It's crazy sometimes. But that's kind of the main thing. Okay. So there's going to be things, and I know we talked about the, and I say we because spirit, we talked about this with your mom, that it has to be cleaned out. Not only here and here, but it's got to be cleaned out within the house. You have to make a space, a safe space for you guys, and you're going to be helping in that process. And there's going to be things that may even be very little, just very little, that kind of hit you that you'll want to save for yourself. Keep it. Keep it. That's fine. All the other stuff needs to go. It doesn't mean you're getting rid of your sister. It doesn't mean you should have guilt about it. You can grieve it, but it needs to go. You need to clear that space. And you need to clear that space in your heart as well, because she's not leaving you. She ain't going nowhere. She gonna bug you forever. You know, I can guarantee it. And it's just like, make room for self-love and that unconditional, but it begins at home. It begins with you, and then you start going outward a little bit and include the rest of the family. Also hearing there's a lot, probably even with your brother, that you don't think you can come together in a commonality, would be the word, like that you could get along 100%. Nobody's going to ever get along 100%, but you are in charge of yourself and the reactions and actions you do to kind of start pulling those walls down. Because what they're showing me is you've got so many walls that are so high that mom, your brother, and you all have, right? And you're used to things having been a certain way, which putting walls up leaves you with no space for that stuff to go, right? So you can get angry, and believe me, my sister died when I was 18. Okay, she was 36. I was very angry at her, very angry the whole time she was sick. That was my senior year in high school. I didn't get shit. My parents, everybody's attention was on my sister, right? When I lost my sister, I felt, why would they take her and not me? She has a family. She has 2 children. I was adopted and I'm 18. Like, why couldn't have it been reversed, right? And what I learned is I put so many walls up for so long that I had anger, frustration, fear, confusion, just not a lot of self-love, because I thought I should have done this, or they should have taken me, or whatever. Okay. And I'm not saying that's exactly the same. I'm just giving you that scenario.
Yeah.
So I get it. But what we do is when we put those walls up, that anger, that frustration, that grief, whatever, any negative thoughts or any negative things that we've been holding since this all began are in here, and we're not letting them go anywhere because we put walls up. You need to take the walls down. New day, new chapter, and you can move forward however you choose. If you choose to move together or move forward together in negatives, it's never going to get better. So whether it's talking to yourself in the mirror, in your head, whether it's writing, whatever your thoughts are valid. It doesn't matter if they're bad. Just write them, get rid of them, put them out. So they're, at least you're acknowledging, yes, this is what was going on. Yes. And then you drop your walls a little bit more. And then you drop them again a little more. Your mom has no clue how to move by herself through life just for her right now. She's kind of in, and she's okay with your sister being gone, well, not, you know what I mean, not okay, but she's
Yeah.
okay because she knows she's safe, but yet she doesn't know how to be. She's not sure who she even is. And that's where each one of you are the same right now. But because you were the extension, like your sister was, right, of your mom, you have bigger walls than she does. And there's no communication, not good communication, right? So take it down a little bit each time. Doesn't matter how long, but it will be of value for all of you. Your brother's going to be a hard nut to crack. Going to tell you that right now. And you're probably going to have to just level it at some point with him and say, look, we're different dynamic right now. We need to be there for each other. Maybe not 100% of the time. I'm not saying that. And guys, you know, they never want people to see their emotions. They never do. I don't care who it is. Any male I've ever met, they don't want to share emotions till they get older. And then they realize, oh, I should have shared my emotions. So it might take, and what I'm being shown is like a chisel and a pick.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to probably take that, but do not give up, because your sibling for you is just as important as you are for him, and he needs to take the walls down. And it might have to be that you're going to show by example, and it's going to be like he'll start to take them down, and then he'll put another row up again, and then you'll be able to get him to come down maybe 3 rows, and he'll go up 1 row, and then, you know, so it's going to be progression with him, and that's okay, as long as you're doing a little bit to get that chisel down. But right now, it's about you taking those walls down so that that stuff isn't there. And that crud will stay with you for years. And you can't tell me, you sitting in front of me right now, don't feel that, yeah, I had anger when my sister was here while we were growing up. I had like sorrow. I had like wanted attention on myself. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, because we have to take care of ourselves before we can even think about going out to help other people. Okay, we have to help ourselves, and it doesn't matter. She don't care. She don't care. Didn't hurt her. She don't care. Because she could see things all the time. When I was doing readings for your mom and she was still here, she'd always jump in, and I'd tell your mom stuff, and your mom would like, how do you know? I go, your daughter's in here. She's telling me. You know, so she's always going to be around you, and she's always been this way with connecting with you through here. So it's just between here and here, and it's going to be stronger. But you have to allow yourself to heal, not from just her, but from the trauma that has been in your life, no matter what it is. No matter if anybody, like if I look at you and I say, oh, well, that shouldn't be trauma, that's not true. Trauma is what you decide is trauma. What you decide is anger. What you decide is love. What you decide, okay? You can grieve. There's no book on how long it takes to grieve. I grieve my sister every day, but I also know she's in a good place. The hardest birthday I ever had was when I turned 37, because it was a year older than my sister had been when she died. Okay. And I don't feel that way anymore. And she actually only has come through for me twice with people that totally did not even know I had a sister, and nailed things on the head with, and I was just like, what did you just say? Because I know she's good, right? She doesn't need to be bugging me. She knows, I know she's good.
Yeah.
And I let that go. So whether it's sitting and crying for a day and having your eyes puff up, and I've been there and done that, that's okay. You have to care for yourself. This is the biggest thing she's jumping up and down about behind me, is you have to take care of yourself. You have to get rid of that negative, because that, and she doesn't care. She doesn't even care if you and your brother were ever angry at her because of the way she was. She don't care. She's like, I know you guys love me. It's just what happened. It's what I came in. That's how it happened. But you got to take care of yourself. And see, all these years, and this is what I'm being shown, all these years have been piling up and piling up. Each day of those years had a different emotion tied to it, tied to your sister. We wouldn't be in this place if it wasn't for my sister. We could do this if it wasn't for my sister. Things would be different if it wasn't for the fact that my sister was sick. She don't care. She doesn't want you to feel bad about any of that. All she's giving is that unconditional love. And she says you have to do that for yourself. The reason you have to do it for yourself is so that you can be your best person that you are and bring all these amazing life adventures to you. All these great little components from everywhere that will bring you joy. And she wants you, and I want you to picture your sister laughing at this because this is what she's doing. Big smile. I want you to have joy in your life. She had joy in her life. People would probably look at a handicapped person. My nephew had Reye syndrome, and he was exactly like your sister was. And he lived to be 24, but just like your sister was. But he had joy. He had up here. He knew what was going on up here. Just the rest of his body didn't cooperate, right? But she had joy. You, your mom, your brother, your dog, her dog. She's got a dog with her on that side, a big dog.
Yeah, like a white and like golden kind of dog.
I was gonna say kind of looks somewhat like almost like a collie dog.
Yeah, looks like Lassie. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, she had joy. She had a lot of joy in her life. It's just that when you look at her, because she's sick, nobody thought she has joy. Doesn't matter. You can be anything and you can have joy. You can experience it, but you have to allow it. And this is what I'm being told to tell you. You need to allow healing and joy and balance to come into your life. And the only way you're going to do that is doing this in the mirror. I don't care if you put up Post-its in your room or your bathroom, and you see those little Post-its on there that say, oh, remember, you're going to have a joyful day today. You're going to have a good day today. You're going to feel amazing about it. And when the icky stuff comes in, because we all have it, especially in work and the way the world is right now, it's going to happen. You just steer away from it. Don't engage with it. Okay. It's kind of like, don't turn the news on because there ain't nothing good on the news, right? So you unplug from that. So if negatives approach you, don't engage. If people come in and they have negative comments or negative behavior, just walk away from it.
Yeah.
I had a person that I worked with. I worked in Children's Hospital for 12 years in the ICU. I had a pharmacist that came in. She was the crabbiest bitch I'd ever met in my life. Okay. I mean, she was just out and out unfriendly and nasty to everybody. But every day when I'd come in for my shift, I went in for afternoons and she was days. So we'd be doing this down the hallway. And I'd say, hi, Heather. I even remember her name. And that was like when I was in my 30s. So that's like 30 years ago, right? I said, hi, Heather. I hope you had a good day. And she'd just look at me in disdain and mumble something under her breath. I did this for 2 years. It took me 2 years. Finally, one day I was coming in. She was getting ready to go home. And she looked at me and she said, hi, Kim. Have a good shift, eh? And I said, yeah, you have a good day. Thank you. See you later. 3 years later, but it worked because I didn't add any negatives to it. You just remove it. It's like, yeah, I'm not her. I'm not getting out of the bad side of the bed. This is who I am. Do we have bad days? Yes, we have many bad days. I'll attest to it. I've had days that I wish sometimes, matter of fact, the first back surgery I had in 2019, and I've had back issues since I was 13, okay, because it was a genetic thing. I died 3 times on the table. And the reason I died is I didn't give a shit anymore. I didn't want to be here. I told Creator God, if you want to take me, take me. Taylor's good. She's set. She's got a great partner, a home. Everything's all set. The will's set. The house is set. I'll go. 3 times. 3 times I got kicked back by St. Francis, who I've worked with all my life. And he's a boss. Whatever pictures you see of him, this little wimpy guy, he's not no little wimpy guy, okay? He's a big guy. Sent me back. So we all have those feelings. We all have bad days, but how I get through it is I unplug and I work with people to help them feel good about themselves, to give them some insight that's going to help. Okay. So every person you touch, I want you to think of this because this is what they're giving me. Every person that you come in contact with, and by touch, I mean your energy, your person, how you speak to them or whatever. Every person we imprint on, it's up to us to imprint positives. And that's how we ripple out so that more people are in positives. Or when they see you, they're more likely to have that impression. So it makes them happy. And then it goes out and out and out. And that's where you got to get. Because, and somebody just yelled, and I'm fake it till you make it ain't going to work. Okay. They just yelled, tell her, fake it till you make it ain't going to work. So start addressing it, like I said, by writing it out. Get yourself a notebook, shove it under your mat, pull it out, write. Go outside and yell or scream. I've done that before. Go out in the woods and howl at the moon. Who cares? Just get rid of that energy, that negative, and start working for you, not anybody else. Start working for you. And then it starts working out. And then you start getting better here. Then the family comes together. You're clearing out. You're not getting rid of your sister. And this is what she keeps yelling is, you're not getting rid of me. Just because you throw the material stuff out. She says, you're not getting rid of me. I'm not going anywhere. And she's really like excited. Her hands are like going like this. You're not getting rid of me. She's talking really fast too. So, she'll visit you in your dreams. You'll have things that'll happen. Things don't happen coincidentally. They happen for reason and purpose, And I keep hearing like dimes. Like you turn around, there's a dime sitting here. There's a dime sitting there. It's like, yeah, once, yeah, maybe coincidence. Twice, yeah, not so much. 3 times, oh, heck no. That's not coincidence. Okay, so she's gonna leave you not necessarily dimes, but she's like, I'm there, you'll see, but you have to come to grips with you first. And I know it sucks. It's hard. And especially, I will tell you, and my daughter's 30, and I'm not sure how old you are right now, but young people today, I pray for so hard. And people my age that are my friends say, what kind of world have we left for our kids and our grandkids? And it's a scary place. But we make a difference when we're more positive. Even if you say to somebody they're nasty or negative and you say, geez, I'm so sorry you're having a bad day. You know what I mean? It's like how we react. Okay. And once you start like reacting in positives, more positives come back to you. But you got to start with yourself. I just got like a big hammer dropped on. Start with yourself. And she's not going to let it go. She ain't going to let it go. That was like so crazy. She stepped back a little bit, but man, when she had hands on, it was like, you need to hear what she's going to say. So yeah, and the birds, see, they've calmed down now too. Yeah. So just be good to yourself. Questions?
Question about the dog. Is it the right blanket he has?
She's like, as long as it's one of mine.
Okay.
She says, I think it'll be fine. She's screwing with him though.
What do you mean?
She's screwing with him. Like playing with him.
Oh, okay.
Screwing with him, right? Like, I'm over here. No, I'm over here. Yeah, she's playing with the dog. Those were big connections with her. And I also want to tell you that her other dog or your family's dog is also in the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, also 100% in the house and interacting with the other dog.
Okay.
the dog will stay there longer than your sister will, but your sister can be like 100 different places at the same time. That's how the energy works. And she comes in, it's like almost like a check-in for you guys. But I'm also being told she doesn't want to do too much of that because she doesn't want you guys to get too comfortable with it, because you need to address stuff for yourself, but to know that she's always around you guys, supporting you and loving you. But the dog, yeah, the dog kind of stays. And the dog also has a connection with your mom for some reason. So it's like he goes and this dog that's in spirit comes and screws with your dog that's here. And the dog can see, they can see each other.
Yeah.
But he'll even like lay down and be calm. And he's actually saying to me that I keep telling him to lay down, to stop being a knucklehead, like just jumping all over and being really excited and stuff.
Our dog here or Honey?
No, your dog here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so the dog that's with her now is the one that's coming in and trying to get him to settle.
Oh, please.
And it's almost like, okay, so my daughter grew up with a dog. When she was 2 years old, I went to a pound that had been advertised on TV. They had one up for adoption. She had 3 legs. We named her Cheyenne. Best dog ever. She lived 14 years. She was my daughter's dog, like, right? But when I had my big, huge house out in the woods on the farm, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dogs. But we had 10 acres, okay? And the house was 3,900 square feet, so it was huge. And anytime the dogs would like start rustling and not getting after each other, but playing with each other, roughhousing, right? Cheyenne, which would be in the other apartment area of the house with my mom, would come now 3 legs. She had 1 back leg and 2 front. Come racing into the living room and sit down, and she put her paw down right in the middle of them, and she barked at them all, and they all stopped. However they were, butt up in the air, hanging off the couch, on their backs, didn't matter. She laid the law down. This is what this dog that's with her is doing with your dog. Trying to put the law down so it'll calm down. And the dog, I told your mom this, I think, yesterday. Your dog that you have now is confused, but he's also grieving like everybody else. And it's almost like when he looks at you guys, he doesn't think you're grieving. And in a way, I think some of you have pushed it back a little bit. You take it in little doses, right? Little doses. But you really haven't allowed it to come out the way you probably would want to get rid of it with no guilt. And by doing that and letting that pain out isn't going to change how she feels about you. Okay? It's just not. But the dog doesn't know its role now. And I told your mom, I think I told your mom that she needs to let him up into her bedroom.
Oh, it's her bedroom he wants to be in.
Yeah. He needs to connect either with you, your brother, or your mom. He has to be allowed at night to go to somebody's bed.
Like actually in my bed, because I have terrible allergies and I think I'm allergic to him. But
then not you, but he needs to go to somebody. And that's why I'm pretty sure I told your mom, let him in your room. Why are you locking him up at night? Is he bad? Is he bad when he's loose? She says, well, no. And I said, he feels shut out. He needs to feel part of it. And it's different because the dynamic has changed.
Yeah,
it's different. And I didn't even know about that dog because I said to your mom, I said to this, I go, where's the dog? And I said, I know hers. Where's the dog? And she looked at me and she started laughing and she says, downstairs. I go, why is he locked downstairs? Well, and she really didn't have an answer for it.
Yeah.
So y'all need to treat him like part of the family. If you have allergies, I get it 100%. That's not what's being said, but it's like include him more.
Yeah, like
he's not a bad dog.
If he can't get in my bed, like
he just has no
place
to put the energy. That's part of the problem. Like he wants to go, run, 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 go, 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 walk, 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 play, play, play. And he still kind of is a puppy, at least up here he is. How old is he?
Like a year and a half.
He's not going to get out of this till he's like 3. They're
Yeah.
puppies till they're about 3 years old. And that's what he has all this energy and nowhere to put it. And he's grieving, just like everybody else in the house. Only he's a dog, so he's not sure what he did wrong. And that's what he feels like when he gets depressed. Or I think your mom said, didn't he go under a bed or something?
He lies under her bed, yeah.
And I said, that all needs to move. Like, go.
Yeah.
Slowly, or put it in the garage or store it somewhere. Just go. You have to treat him like a member of the family. And if you can't have men, I understand that 100%. I mean, because animals just take over. Mine always did. My toddler parrot does too.
Yeah.
He'll shimmy down the cage. He's loose all the time on his cage or in his cage. He can get out. He'll shimmy down the side of it like it's a stripper pole and go running for the border.
Yeah.
On the floor because he can't fly. The vet told me he can't fly because he's too fat. I said, you're fat shaming my bird? Seriously right now? So 2 weeks ago, we had a wedding. One of my daughter's best friends who grew up at my house, the same age, they got married up here. I just went to the ceremony, not the reception. We came back because it was in between, and my daughter and son-in-law stood up at the wedding. So it was her best friends. There was like 4 people here besides me. And they were all in the other room talking in the kitchen and hanging out at the food bar. And I got up because I was doing something on the computer, and I turned around, I'm like, oh my God, where's the bird? Where's the bird? And I said, where's the bird? They go, oh, he's in here. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, he came in. He was walking around on the floor with them, looking up and saying hi. And he just wanted to be where the people were. Now, mind you, he's a good sized parrot. He's an African gray. Okay. So he's not tiny. And the cat was right there beside him. She don't care. They love each other. Okay. So animals have that need to interact.
Yeah.
Like humans do. So just remember that. If he gets funky, in another part of the house, maybe even go out for a walk with him. Take him for a walk. He'll be a sped, but they are when they're puppies.
And does he not like the couch or something? He's always digging at the couch.
No, I think there's a scent on the couch that he connects with your sister.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe you guys set something up there that she had been laying on, or a pillow or something, but this is what I'm hearing, is a sense there. So he's like, oh, well, the scent's here. She's got to be here too.
Okay. And so that's the chewing on the couch too? Like he's chewing.
I would imagine, yeah. Plus being a dumb toddler.
Yeah.
I mean, they chew until they're 3. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie about that. That's not from spirit. I used to train dogs, and that's what my dogs did. Especially my dog Cheyenne was a lab shepherd mix, but she was all white, cream colored, beautiful dog. She chewed everything she could chew because she was toddler.
Yeah.
After she turned about 2.5, 3 years old, it stopped.
Okay. I don't know.
Add it to the daily list of fun stuff to do.
Yeah. Is there anything else in terms of jobs and stuff like that you're hearing, seeing? Like I'm doing the right thing, or like I'm in the right?
No, I just see the change. Like they still pick up this gear. It's like a gear, and they're turning it like that way to open something. But then they're showing me that center spot with all those things going out to the side, all over the map.
Okay.
So, network. And I truly wouldn't worry about it right away, but always keep your ears open. And if something within the job kind of strikes you and intrigues you, make sure you make a mental note of it and then follow up with the people. Get to know them better. And that's what I mean by follow up, like get to know them better or talk to them, engage with them a little bit more. But it'll be a while before you have to make any kind of decisions, but it'll come back, and you'll have, again, if you approach it right, it's going to be a lot of connections and a lot of different paths you can take. But I also feel with what they're showing me, it's like within like year and a half, you'll kind of know which way to direct the energy, what you want to come in. It's like you'll come to a place of, okay, this is what I want to do.
Okay.
Or,
yeah.
This isn't what I want. This is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to do, but this is what I want to do.
Okay.
So it'll come clearer for you. And it's like, yeah, they're like wiping the windows, and the number on it's like a year and a half.
Okay. Yeah, I am networking a lot, so that's good confirmation because I'm like every week. Like I don't even have to be in the office, and I'm in the office. So yeah.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's a way that I'm really glad you're doing it, and my daughter does it all the time. But there's a lot of people in the younger, like in the 20s, to about 30, 32, that they don't know how to do that. All they know how to do is this on their phones, and you can't lose the you don't want to lose the connection, because if you lose that connection, you know, it's totally not good, because you don't know how to do stuff with people, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we've lost our way with compassion and empathy and conversation. No one knows how to have a conversation anymore. And I go all the way back when my daughter graduated high school in 2011 was when cell phones really became a thing. And parents were handing them out to their kids like babysitters, right? Because we can call them, right? We can call them right now, and we know where they are. And I used to laugh. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I went to a store with my daughter, and we were walking through the parking lot because I'm in a small town, right? And there was a kid, like 11 years old, sitting on a parking block. You know, those yellow things in the car, sitting there. Oh yeah, Mom, we're just sitting here at the table doing our homework. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you can bring that. That would be good for dinner. Yeah, okay. Well, we're not going anywhere, Mom. We're right here at the house. So, you know, we're not going anywhere. Yep, I'm listening. I'm doing. And he hung up. And I said, "You're where? You're home? Don't look like you're home to me." And he flipped me off. 11 years old. Okay, so then when I'd pull up at school to pick her up after school when she was in high school, one by one down the row on the sidewalk outside of the school where people were waiting to get picked up, the kids were on their phone. Every one of them had a phone. They were even talking to the person next to them on the phone. So you being who you are, you know the value of it. Network. Take names, take numbers, network. Keep in touch with the ones that like resonate with you, and you'll be fine. But again, I'm seeing like a year and a half. Then that's almost like going to be the place of where you want to make your decision. Okay. This is how I want to move forward.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you're good. The only issues, like I said, are with self, and it's more personal than work related. Because it's almost like, and they're laughing because, and I don't think it's funny, but they do. Because I used to turn myself off when I went to work. That's where I went to get rid of everything. Like, because I got divorced. There was a reason for that. So I just shut everything down. I worked as much as I could. My mom had Tay when she was little, and then my ex-husband would come home like at 3 o'clock, and I'd be already at work by 2:30. So he had an hour to eat dinner or do whatever he wanted. Then he'd go pick her up for my mom. So she was never by. She always had one of us. Yeah. But that's where I went to shut stuff off, so I didn't have to deal with the crap that was going on in my life. And we have to deal with it because it doesn't go away. It just piles up. Mm-hmm. And I'm also being told don't procrastinate for you. Are you a big procrastinator?
Kind of, but kind of.
I work better under pressure.
That's what I say at the job, but sometimes it's kind of more work stuff. I think I kind of like some things like the really mundane stuff. I'm just like,
I work better. That's what she just yelled. I work better under pressure. See, that is one thing I'll tell you, because my partner is always around. Her kids come up. They've seen her here. I mean, other people have seen her. It's crazy. I will tell you, they are ruthless when we don't do stuff the way they think we should do it. ruthless. Like, really? They'll stand in front of me, or she'll come in and she'll make all the birds go crazy, or she'll play with the TV, turning one on and shutting one off. And then I go to the room and it's on, and I'm like, who turned the TV on? And then the one in the other room turns on. It's crazy. So they see us in our real self. So procrastinate. I can do the best when I procrastinate. I can do that. I'm good under pressure. Don't worry about it. I got it. Yeah, no. And I'm the same way. That's why I'm laughing, because I'm getting laughed at. So, yeah, other than that, it's extremely positive. It's just really self-worth and self-work that you need to do. And it's not bad. And there's no like timetable for it, you know, but they want you to start taking those walls down.
Okay.
And you got to remember, this is a fresh page. This is a new chapter of the book for all of you.
Yeah.
Not just you. There's 3 books.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a new chapter. But the biggest thing is she doesn't want you guys to lose connection with each other. And it's like, I'm getting this. They weren't really connecting well before, but they still have that opportunity to connect better now. Doesn't mean you have to be best friends with your brother. You just have to be his nagging sister. You know, that gets him because he's a little crazy because he's your brother. My brother I grew up with, he always did stupid shit with me. Always. We'd go out, I'd take my mom and dad, because my mom and dad didn't drive far, when they got older. So I'd drive them out to my brother's, and he lived on a little lake, and he had a boat. And he wanted to take my mom and my dad out on the boat. I said, have fun. He goes, oh, no, come on, you should be on it too. And there's like not enough seats, so I'm just kind of leaning in the back. And my brother, I should have known better. He gassed it, and I went flying out over the back of the boat in the lake.
Yeah.
And him and my dad and my father, who I adore to this day, sat there and laughed. And my dad looked at me and said, I can't believe you were that stupid. I just looked at him. My mom was yelling at both of them. Like, oh, you too. You shouldn't have done that to your sister. That's bad. Why would you do that? And my brother, he was like in his 40s. Yeah, just pitched me off the back of the boat. So my brother used to do stupid shit all the time. I love him. I didn't hang out with him all the time, but that's how they all were. My siblings were all this way with me because I was the baby and I was adopted. My sister used to yell at me and say, I never forget this day to the day I die. I was downstairs in the laundry rooms, and we had big cement laundry tubs. There was 2, and then the washer and the dryer. And I went down to flip a load or something, and I was in high school. And my sister came, and she shut the laundry room door, and I go, yes. She goes, you just get away with everything. It's because you're the little princess. I go, huh? Like, I didn't even know where this was coming from. And she says, everything is about you. I go, I'm thinking to myself, you're 34 years old. You're not even living at home anymore. Well, I could never do that stuff. And I said, really? I go, I don't care. And then I looked at her and I said, well, here's the difference between you and me. You were had and I was chosen. Because I got adopted. I was chosen. They just had you. And I started to walk out of the laundry room, and she tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around. She threw a whole bucket of dirty water all over me. Doesn't mean I didn't love her. Doesn't mean she didn't love me. But that was a dynamics. Your sibling. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe we don't become their best friends, but you need to be family. And right now, that's very broken right now. And y'all can deny it as much as you want, but it's, y'all know individually, it's right. You are broken. But it's not broken so bad that it can't be fixed. And I think you're going to find that your mom she's really struggling. And I think out of all of you, she's probably not lessening your issues, not lessening your brothers, but she really doesn't know how to behave or how to really live without your sister being attached. So this is going to be a growing process with her. But you can fix it with yourselves by connecting with little things, just little things.
Okay, 3 more questions.
Oh.
I know we're at the my mom did have a question she wanted me to follow up with you that she forgot to ask. She wants to know if she should be taking like the antidepressants or whatever that the doctors are saying she should take.
Okay, so here's the thing. Your mother is all over the place right now. She probably would do well with a counselor right now.
Yeah, she has one.
Okay, as long as she's doing that, unless the counselor is saying they think she should, I don't think she should.
Okay.
I think part of what it is she's overwhelmed. And this is what I see. This is exactly what they're showing me. It's like a pillow, and somebody's like behind her, pushing her head down. And what it is it's actually herself doing that because she doesn't want to deal. And she's not really sure how to cope because she's never lived such a long time without your sister and the responsibility that came with it. Plus being a mom who loves their child regardless of what's going on. So I would say, personally, I would say no.
Okay.
Because that gives her an excuse to hide behind, and I'm just telling you this. That gives her an excuse to hide behind what she needs to deal with. She needs to talk with her counselor and do the positive steps. And that's the other thing. Like I said, she needs to engage with you guys. She needs to talk with you guys. You know, have a meal, have a pizza, you know, sit and go through boxes. I said, you don't have to go through the whole room, but take a couple boxes a day or a couple boxes a weekend and move them through. Whether it's you're dropping them off at a shelter or whatever, donating them somewhere, that's fine. But they need to go. And it's like, she's clinging to it because she thinks if she can get rid of this, if she gets rid of the stuff, she's getting rid of your sister. And that's not true. She did say she was having a difficult time, I guess, selling the bed, I think.
Yeah.
But I think if she gets hold of somewhere, you know, the bottom line with your mom, always about that kind of stuff, and she usually makes it as and again, this is between you and me, is an excuse for it. She's like, I want to sell it, blah, blah, blah. She might just have to donate it and take the tax write-off.
Okay.
Because everything boils down to the dollar with your mom. And I get it. I'm there. I'm here. I live on a very fixed income. And I actually just got my mortgage went up by $100, which for me is like food. So it's like, okay, well, I'll be okay. I'm not going to be, it's going to be really, really tight until January. And then my income goes up. But it gets scary, right?
Yeah.
And that's where your mom is. She's in a, like, I don't know how to function without my daughter. And she's trying to balance that, and she's not there yet. She's going to need everybody's help, counselor and you guys, you know. And I know that's going to be hard, but also with you helping her and talking with her, you're going to heal. There's going to be things that you probably let out that she didn't know, and she needs to listen. And the way my daughter does it with me, I fell in February here at the house at 3:00 in the morning. I gave myself a concussion. I busted my femur at the top, you know, where between the ball and the long bone, there's that little bone, cracked that in 2 places. Laid on the floor because I couldn't get up, couldn't even move. Crawled to my phone. At 3:00, I fell. I think I got to my phone by 5 because I had to crawl because I couldn't get up, right? So we went through all this. They sent me down to trauma. I had to have surgery on it and stuff. I had no pain with it unless I tried to stand up on it. And my daughter came up. She saw me at the hospital, but then she come up a couple weeks later. I had somebody staying here with me at the house. And my daughter looked at me and she brought the hammer down. And she needed to do that, just like you're going to need to do it with your mom. She looked at me and she says, we have to talk. I'm like, okay. And she said, don't you hide those things from me. And I called her when it happened. I was fine. I really was. I wasn't in pain. They came and picked me up. And I didn't want her, to come up that day. I was transferred 3 hours below because it was a trauma center. I didn't have pain. I was fine. I didn't want her to come sitting at the hospital. Go do your plans that you had for the day. She put the hammer down, which meant I needed to listen to her point of view. Okay? And that's what you need to do. When mom gets a little, don't put that frustration inside. Put the hammer down. But Taylor did it in a way that says, Mom, I need you to listen to me. I don't want you to say anything. I just need you to hear what I'm going to say. She didn't yell at me or anything. She told me her feelings, her emotions about what happened, and the fact that I lied to her. Well, I didn't really lie to her because I talked to her. She goes, you can make any excuse you want. You lied to me. And I said, how do you even know that? Well, one of my friends opened their big trap and called her.
Yeah.
And I got on my friend, not mean, but like, really? You called? But, well, it's Taylor, Yeah. So what I'm telling you is we need to hear it sometimes as moms. And that's what I'm seeing. Sometimes you're going to have to put that hammer down to have that tough conversation. But you're going to have to tell her, please listen to me. I'm not mad at you. I'm not, but we need to work through this together. And you need to see the other points of view. And that's where you're going to have yourself placed in that part so that you can also heal and move forward. But she's going to have to hear some things that she probably won't want to hear. I know when my daughter does it, it's not stuff I really want to hear either, right? Any more than anybody likes it. But when it's a mom, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Questions?
Not about that. Something else. So Kai, our dog, I've left him a couple times at our friend's house. Does he like it there?
He likes it because it's different.
Because I just
something new. You're tapping into giving him things to get his attention to kind of like what's the word? Engaging.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, so you go to the zoo, right? And they have like the ape house, which as much as I hate seeing these beautiful great apes in an enclosure, they do things to engage with them. They put new toys out for them. They hang stuff for them. They do hide and seek with food. They engaging them, right? Keeping them busy. So anything that's not the norm is going to engage with him.
Okay.
And that's going to be good. And if it's not good, like you'll know right away. Like if there's somebody somewhere, not even at your friend's house, but somewhere where a person comes up and he doesn't like them, know there's a reason and trust that. Going to give you that 100%.
Yeah, he has very strong opinions about some of our neighbors.
They don't like them for a reason. There's a reason, and you better listen to it. I've had everything from horses to hamsters. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
I had 12 horses. There were people that would come over. My horses would not go within 10 feet of them. And you have to trust that.
Yeah.
Same way with dogs, same way with birds, same way with all animals. They don't like you. There's something that energy is coming off of whoever, and they don't like it. Don't push it. And like I said, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Questions?
So I had a dream once, and it was someone like indigenous, like came down with lightning and blue and white like outfit on, like furs kind of. And do you have anything about that, or like any kind of?
I would imagine those furs, if they were kind of bluish in color, were probably wolves, and it's probably like a guide for you. That's somebody that's setting in your life, and whether you realize that they're there or not, they're there, and that's probably why they came through. And if it came through with lightning, it's more about empowerment for you, like how you should be moving through something that's going on, like stand up and own it kind of a thing. If you're dealing, even if it's with self, like stand up and own it, right? Look in the mirror. Okay, I screwed up. I've had to do this many times. I screwed up. I know I screwed up, but you're looking in the mirror, so it's coming back and you're acknowledging it. So whatever was going on at that time was something you needed to stand in your own power and see. But my guess is, again, he's a guide, because what I'm seeing is wolf skins.
Okay.
Questions?
No, I think that's
Ask him if you have things that are going on in your life and you want assistance, conjure that image up that you just gave me and ask him. And he'll either come back in dreams or you'll literally hear him in your head. Don't think you're crazy because you're not. That's another thing that I'm seeing with you, right, is a crack. Like they're showing me like a crack, like a zigzag crack with light coming out of it through you, like right down the middle. And it's like you have that gift, the gift of knowing, being able to connect with the other side. But it's almost like it's only open a little bit because it kind of scares you a little bit.
Yeah, like I don't want to see things like I don't want to see dead people and stuff like I literally had a dream the other night and it's like I saw it was like my aunt and it has to do with black magic and stuff like that and she was using something to see who was doing something to her and then I woke up and I always say prayers like when stuff like this happens and I closed my eyes back and it was like I saw a doll like a voodoo doll and it was like
She's still alive?
Yeah.
She's probably doing it. And I'm not going to joke. You're probably seeing something she's doing because you are connected to the spirit world.
Well, that's what there were like bands wrapped around I don't know who it is, if it's me, if it's my mom, it's my brother and stuff like that. And it was just like, and so like I was praying and it was going up and they were snapping, but the top one wouldn't. And then I got up and I had to go sleep in my mom's room.
Okay. So what you need to do is you need to smudge. You need to smudge your room. I know your mom's got stuff. Smudge yourself. Do that for a few nights and put out good intentions. And when you do, just say you're not allowing her into your space and make sure you say her name and put it out there. Because if you're seeing that, she's still alive, she's doing it. And that's the reason you saw it.
Yeah, it didn't look like her, but like I knew, like I could, like I knew, right?
Well, it's the other side, right? It's the other side of her. She shows to people one side of herself, one side of her face, but who she truly is what she's doing.
Yeah, because it looked like a really young girl, but she doesn't have long hair or anything like that. So we were like, we don't know who it is.
Okay, so bottom line is, don't worry about it. Don't add energy to it, because if you add energy to it, she gets that energy and that power. Stand in your own power, smudge your room, and tell her out loud in your head, whatever, that she's not allowed to come into your space. And then that should fix it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Okay. Don't think about it, because thinking about it gives that thing power, whatever she was doing. Okay. It gives that scenario power.
Okay.
Okay. So the other thing I'm going to tell you, and I'm laughing at you, but I'm not. Okay. Dead people don't look dead. Dead people come through in a movie.
Yeah.
They'll come in and you'll see like maybe a dark shadow. And this always makes me laugh too, because people are like, oh, it's shadow people. They're evil. It's a demon. No, it's not. It's our loved ones that are trying to manifest for us to say, hey, we're here and around you. They're not bad. And if you see things and they were bad, you'd know, because the hair on your neck and everything else in your body and your whole you would say this is not good. Okay. Dead people don't look dead.
It's not bad. I'm more afraid of like the bad things. Like I dreamt coming out of my closet, my brother's friend's girlfriend.
Smudge.
She was crawling, like she was standing there and then she crawled like a spider. And like I've got pink Himalayan salt in the corner of my room. I've got a selenite stick and stuff like that. And was like, it's like stuff like that, right? Like we've had statues turning and turning, and I'm just like, I can't take things like that, right?
Part of the reason that happens is your sister, because she had so much energy and couldn't get it out physically. So it wasn't feeding negative things, but it was like poltergeisting, right? So the energy was coming out to create itself in the house. Okay. The other thing is your mom gets so paranoid over this. And I'm like, you guys are people of light. Okay, you're not shadowed or dark. Your aunt may be, but you're not, right? So smudge your space and don't add energy to it. Okay, Himalayan salt's great, but don't forget, when you put salt down, you trap inside.
Okay.
So you have to smudge everything, including your salt lamps or
Okay.
whatever. And then smudge, leave a window open.
Yeah.
So you start on one side, go all the way around the room, through the closet, open the door, smoke it up. And then when
Okay.
you get to the other side, like if it's a window, right? You don't want to open the door because the door, you don't want it in the rest of the house. You want it out. So push it
Okay.
out, open the window, and wind up where you started, right?
Okay.
Then you put the salt down. And the reason, oh my God, I got home from my surgery. I had somebody staying with me to take help because I couldn't walk. I couldn't get up. And she is, she's a sensitive, but she hasn't really used it. So I got home and I know my regulars in the house that come and go. I know because this is a safe space for them.
Yeah.
And she came in this one day, and when I finally was able to get up and walk on the walker, I was like looking around and go, what in the hell? I said, what is all this salt for? She must have had 20 containers of salt, big salt boxes.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, she says, it was just getting too crazy in here. I just went outside and I wrapped the whole outside of the house in salt. And every other day, because if it would rain or something, right, she'd go redo it. I go, so you're salting the outside? She says, yeah. And I just sitting there laughing. I'm like, okay. Because I knew my partner was going to get pissed because she wasn't going to be able to get out.
Yeah.
So it was like 4 days later. And this was in the winter. This was in February. And the gal that was staying with me, come down in through the kitchen, come down, and she got her putting her boots on, and you can hear her cussing under her feet, grabbing the broom. I go, what are you doing? She went out the door and slammed the door. She came back in. I said, what were you doing? She says, well, they told me to take the damn salt off so they could get out. I said, yeah, I kind of thought you knew that, but I thought it was funny because I didn't have a problem with the people that were here. She goes, you knew? I go, yeah, like everybody knows that. You can't salt them in unless you cleanse. I said, so you trapped whatever was in here. She said, well, I just got a lecture. I said, okay, so you got a lecture. Right? So don't ever think that. And if you feel ooky about dreams or whatever, smudge yourself and the room. Do yourself first, then the room. Let it out. Then put your four corners in.
So are you saying it's probably better not to leave salt there then in the corners?
It's okay to put it there, but you need to do it after you smudge.
Okay.
Because you want to cleanse everything negative out.
Okay, and then
run the smudge over the salt too as you're doing everything, and then put them together so that like all four of them, and then smudge yourself, smudge the salt, smudge the room. Once it goes out the window, take the pieces and you can put them anywhere you want.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
They're not scary. They're just loved ones coming through to say hi. And like I said, your aunt's probably doing something crazy. If you saw that and she's here, she's doing something crazy. You would not be shown that if she wasn't doing something crazy. And I don't necessarily think it's anything against you. I just think she's needing energy for something. I don't know what she's doing, but for energy. See, and I ignore that crap.
Yeah.
Because the only way it's going to harm you is if you allow it to and feed it energy.
Okay.
If you feed it energy, yeah, it'll go.
Okay, so they would say I shouldn't go home then, right? Like with my dad in January.
Yeah, your dad's another thing. I've just not really gotten. I've known your mom for years. The only feeling I ever get from your dad is a narcissistic, controlling thing, and that's not what your mom has said. That's got nothing to do with it. But whenever I've tried to focus on him, that's all I ever get. So, your relationship with him is your relationship, whatever you make it out to be. Doesn't matter. You're in control of it. You either accept things or you don't accept things. It's kind of like, again, I'll use my daughter as example. I got divorced for a reason, but I never told Taylor any of those reasons. Every now and then I'd call him a dick, but I never really, and she'd know that, but I just pretty much say, I can't talk about it because I'm not going to have anything good to say.
Mm-hmm.
She's 30 years old. She hasn't talked to her dad since June. He copped out on her 3 times when he was supposed to go visit her. He waited till 3 hours after he was supposed to be there to call her and say, "Oh, I changed my mind. I'm not going down." She had made dinner plan, everything, right? And continues to do this kind of stuff. He called her. She was down in Key West for her birthday, the end of September. He called her at 9:00 at night while they were all out to a restaurant having dinner. What? He's retired. Like, why didn't you call her in the morning? Like I did, like her grandmother did, right? No, he waits till, and that's all I said. Oh, well, happy birthday. I hope your day was good. And he hung up. She hasn't talked to him since, and she don't care.
Yeah.
That's her relationship with him. I didn't have to do it. They do it themselves.
Yeah.
So my thing for you is it's your relationship between him and you. However he wants it, only between you and him. It's not between your mom and him and you, or your brother, him and you. It's your relationship and what you want out of it.
Yeah, I'm just tired. I don't want to deal with any of that, really. Like,
but do you realize that you're an adult and you don't have to?
Yeah, I know that. I just need money, so he does that. But it's just like I'm tired, right? Like I don't like when Kira died and all this. I was like, I don't want to deal with any of that. Like, I don't need it. It's been like 13 years. There's no need, right? Like,
well, I think your dad was. Did your mom let him know and he came to the hospital?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing with that, and this is what I said. This is Bear. This isn't anything. This is Bear, and I worked at ICU and children's for a long time. The fact that he came rang narcissist because he didn't do shit while she's been here, or at least not a whole lot of anything.
Yeah.
Much, okay. And so he comes to make himself look better because he's there when his child dies. Red flags for you, red flags for me.
Yeah, honestly, like we were told that Kira needed to see him, so we let him come and stuff, and we let him come to the house and stuff like that. But like the drinking has not changed. And I straight up told him, I said, I don't want to be around you if you're drinking and stuff like that. But it was just like
he's not happy.
He came to the house. We let him come to the house because he had no one. And so we let him come to the house like when people were coming through and stuff. And he was like crying. But we knew, like, and even my grandparents, they didn't see it coming. I don't know how they didn't see it coming. We knew it was coming and stuff like that. So we were all like, we were under the understanding that we were celebrating her, and we all knew
her life, right?
Yeah. But for him, it was just like, I don't know. I know he wrote her a letter. Apparently, I didn't know that. Simon said he put something in the basket for her and stuff like that. But it was just like, he was crying, right? Like he's sitting in the corner, he's holding her picture and stuff like that. And we were like, and I think he did get upset. Like he got upset. I think my aunt had said that, the same one I dreamt. She had said to my mom, or she said to someone, or my uncle or something like that. Like, I think he thought we were just going to keep talking about Kira the whole time we were all together. But we weren't, because we spent our whole lives together, right? Like we knew who she was. She was very, had some dark humor, but it was just like, she laughed.
She was a smart ass.
She laughed when people got cancer, like on Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that, right? So it was like, but it was just like, but we just like, we weren't taking him on anyways. It was just kind of like he did go a little ahead, and I said, you need to go now, right? I said, you need to go.
It's a show. He wants everybody to feel sorry for him. He's trying to control the narrative. And oh my God, he was such a good dad. He misses his. No, he doesn't.
Oh, nobody was under that impression. No one.
But I mean, but this is what he's thinking. Yeah. Not that anybody's under that impression. This is how he's trying to project himself. Yeah. And, he has to live with that. He has to deal with that. And he has to deal with the dreams that he's going to have because he caused them for himself. He's a narcissist. Period.
Yeah, because he was saying like, oh, like after he'd had a couple drinks, he's like, oh, she was the love of my life. And I was like, she was the love of your life, when you've seen her all the time, you haven't seen her in like a decade, like over a decade. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. But I was just like, right now I need money. So I just send a little text, hi, hello. He'll buy me a new winter jacket, my winter boots. And I just leave it at that, right? Like,
Yeah, don't engage any more than you have to. Don't feel guilty about it. And you know, my daughter was the same way while she was in college. If her dad could give her money for something, I don't have money. I mean, I'm it, and she knows because I went from we were very, affluent. I had a great job. I was working for corporate America. Then I was working at the hospital. Great job, but then my back got so bad I couldn't work anymore. So we went from having money to not having money, and we were lucky to have a pot to spit in, right?
Yeah.
And so she knew, but her dad actually he challenged me because he wanted friend of the court because she wasn't 18 yet.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted me to drive her to his house, which was 3 hours away, but I had a signed contract from him that said it was okay for us to move here because his whole family's up here.
Yeah.
So my daughter's grandparents on his side were here. And he got me called down to Wayne County because that's where in Detroit where originally was filed. And the judge pretty much threw the book at him, told him he was an asshole. And she first started talking to him because she knew his boss because he's a cop now. Oh, he's a retired cop now. But so she was like questioning about you got a great pension. You should be making a great wage. She says, and you're only paying $100 a month for your daughter? He says, well, yeah, I can't afford. She goes, oh, yeah, I think you can afford more. And she backdated it, and he owed me for the month she backdated it to, and then till she was 18, $858 a month. Oh, he was not happy camper.
Yeah.
He's like, but I buy her clothes, and I buy. Then the judge was like, yeah, and do you pay her medical insurance? Well, no, her mother's got the. Yeah, so he didn't pay nothing because he's a cheap ass. And he's a narcissist, just like your dad. He's a narcissist. So Taylor's learned how to deal with him, how she wants to deal with him and not deal with him. And that's where you're at. Don't feel guilty because you feel a certain way.
Oh, I don't feel guilty about him. I'm just kind of like, I think, like, I've kind of just, I'm like, it is what it is. Like, I don't want to talk. Like, I don't want, like, I don't need this, right?
Well,
like,
can I tell you this? I think you're a very strong young woman who's had a very good upbringing. You've had a lot of harsh stuff pushed on you, but you've learned from it. And I think to the outward world, not family necessarily, but the outward world, you're a very compassionate, caring person. And that's who you need to be. And yeah, part of your dad's in there somewhere, but it's not all the good stuff. You don't have his good. I don't know that he has good stuff. And he's on a pity party right now for himself. And my guess is he'll try to get back with your mom now because,
that's what we
there's no sister involved anymore. So, yeah, I don't think she will, but yeah.
Oh, no, she's already said, like, no, I think during the funeral, I don't know, my aunt had said it, like, oh, he would like, or she would like if they got back together. And she was like, no, we're never doing that again. Like,
oh, he'll try to manipulate everything. That's who he is.
Yeah, but we don't even want him in the house and stuff. Like, there's just like, no.
I'd smudge the whole house, to be honest with you. Get one of those big, huge leaf blowers and get a big pile of sage and just leaf blow the house with sage.
We need that much sage.
All right. Any other questions?
Well, another thing from that dream I heard was, so I'm named after a Hindu god. And I'd heard, like, they had said, like, oh, that won't work. Like, in the dream, that's what I had heard, is like, she won't work. So is there something I need to know about her, or like she has something to tell me or something?
No. Mm-mm. No, I think, your dreams are bleeding through because they want you to be aware. And from what you're saying there, I think someone else in the spirit world was kind of having a discussion with somebody on how to do something with you. And I don't mean do something with you in a bad way. That's not what I'm saying. But how to get something maybe that you set out as a goal or something. And it's like, yeah, no. That's not going to work. We got to look at it differently.
Okay.
So, yeah, no. I feel, to your core, I feel you're got an amazing light in you, but you're not letting it be seen by many. Like it's just this crack that gets out once in a while, and then you try to stuff it back in and like, no, don't let them say it. I don't want them to know. Do you read people well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have very good. Like,
I don't want them to know. Yeah. Don't want them to know my superpowers.
Yeah, because I was like asking for messages like when I do my prayers at night, but then after I got that dream, I was like, never mind, I don't want that because I was like,
smudge, and then ask again. Smudge everything, you know, and you know, if you need to do it like every week, do it every week. Or if you have a bad day at work, smudge yourself before you come into the house. Just get rid of it, or jump in not a hot shower, not a cold shower, just one of those in between showers, and just stand there and let it wash off of you, and it goes down the drain and bye bye.
Okay.
That's another way to do it. But you don't want to carry that ook with you, especially if you've had a crappy day. It's like, ugh. And I smudge. I don't smudge anymore as much as I used to, but I still have to every week, a couple times a week. Mm-hmm. Every time I'm done with a read, I smudge.
Yeah.
I've got my own ick. I don't need everybody else's ick, right?
Yeah.
Okay, questions?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I always love talking with you. Just let me know. Tell your mom. Just send me a note or something. If you got any more questions, just send me a note. Yeah, I'll respond. And if you ever have the feeling you need to dump just anything, I'm not charging. Just reach out to me and I'll come and I'll listen. I see you and I hear you and I'll sit with you. Okay. Mom doesn't need to know. Brother doesn't need to know. Nobody needs to know. Just you. But you need to smudge. And my guess is, and don't tell your mom this because she'll just go off the rails. Your aunt is screwing with some stuff.
Oh, she knows that. We already suspect that. But then when I had that dream,
she's screwing with some stuff.
Yeah.
Just cleanse and don't think about her and what that dream was or any of it anymore. Because all you're doing is adding energy to it.
Okay. I
can tell you though, I recently said to somebody as a half joke we were talking, you know, politics in the U.S. are not in a good place right now.
Yeah.
And I was going kind of batshit watching because they shut down the Congress here. So nothing was getting done. And what meant people weren't getting the monies they needed to get. And the laws that were being supported, nothing was working, right? And then the orange Pumpkinhead, you know, he's in countless courtrooms everywhere.
Yeah.
And one of my friends says, I'm so sick of turning a TV on and that's all it's on. It's his ugly face. And I said, I swear to God, I'd like to get a voodoo doll and I'd like to make it with a pink flaming hair. And I'd just like to sit there and pin it. So yeah, we all have those thoughts, but I'm not going to go out and practice it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just don't give it any more thought and energy at all. Okay.
Okay.
And play with your dog. Even though you're allergic, take him for a walk.
Oh, we do. I do so much stuff with him, but it's like he just can't relax. And I'm just like, oh my God.
He's a puppy. I guarantee you will not relax with him for at least another year and a half.
He's definitely mellowed out, but I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, he's going to put me in the grave. Like, just like, oh my God.
Well, and don't forget, you know, the other dog is there screwing with him. And your sister's there screwing with him. And he's got energy because he's young and he has nowhere to put it.
Yeah.
So he needs chores.
Okay.
Whether it's your brother sitting in a yard throwing a ball for him and having him bring it back for an hour, that's what he needs. He's young and he needs to exert that energy. I had an Australian cattle dog, so you don't have to tell me nothing. I had him for 19 years. He was not a typical, matter of fact, I did change him, okay, from their normal behavior because he wasn't a working dog, but they are born with that instinct. He would come in, if I had a bunch of people at the house, next thing you know, within 10 minutes, everybody would be standing in a tight circle because he had gone around them and they'd look and get closer. He would never, when I first got him, it took me a year and a half and I had to socialize him with people and stuff, but he jumped. Like from standing still on 4, he would jump as tall as I was, like straight up in the air. And he was crazy. And then finally, we just were so chill, trying to get him to chill and we'd play. he was a couch potato. I had farmers, because that's where I live in rural, that would come to my house that I knew that would like, oh my God, you got a cattle dog in the house? And I'm like, yeah, it's Boone. He's fine. And the one that sat down on the couch, she was so scared of him, and she had the dogs like that because she knew, because she had a cow farm, right? She's like, oh my God, I can't believe you got, oh, he's a big baby. He's just a couch potato. She goes, no way. And he got up, he was trying to kiss her, and he laid down on her lap. She goes, I have never seen a cattle dog do this. It's all about what you put into them. It's all about, if you're chill, they'll pick up on that energy.
Yeah.
You just have to be chill around him and talk softly. Yelling to him is like the Charlie Brown cartoon.
Anyone. It's like you're not. He doesn't care. Yeah, I'm unhinged. But I think we are turning him into a couch potato, because I'm like, I'm happy to run and stuff with you, but then I want to sit down. Like, you know, I'm tired.
Do you have like snack treats for him?
A gazillion of them.
Pick his favorite one. One of the things that I always told people when I trained with the dogs is get some liverwurst, like some that you have to refrigerate. Cut a slice and then chop it into, because it comes in like a tube.
Okay.
Take a slice and cut it up into maybe 2 cuts one way and 2 cuts the other way, like it's crisscross, and then little bits, and put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in your pocket. When you want him to do something, show him the stuff so he can get it by his nose, put it behind you, and then tell him to sit and stay. Okay? You walk away, he gets up. Nope, sit down. And if he sits down and he's listening, give him a little tiny bit, okay? Then tell him to stay. And it's all a process, but that liverwurst gets their attention all the time.
Okay.
So does, like, if you're walking him, smack their head. If they're, like, looking everywhere and spazzing, or take your foot if you're out for a walk and just tap on his legs with one of your feet. Don't bend down. Just make sure he's listening to you. Pull up the chain. If he doesn't do it on the leash like that, you tap him, head or butt, and it snaps him out of that focus.
Yeah.
And I've trained dogs, and I'll tell you what, the worst dogs to train are the Chihuahuas. The little tiny rat dogs. They are the worst. Big dogs, they're just big dopes.
Yeah. We had a trainer, and like she said to get a harness to stop the pulling, and that didn't really work. But my cousin came and he said, take the harness off, put
choke chain.
Oh, not a choke chain, but we just hooked him on his collar, and he said, just pull up. Every time he starts to like pull away.
Harness is I don't know what trainer in their right mind would tell you to put a harness on him. The harness doesn't do shit. That's the worst.
So we've been walking him for like 2 weeks. He's still struggling a little bit, but he's like, now I just pull up, right? And so
okay, now I'm going to tell you this. People are afraid of choke chains, right? Choke chains do not hurt them. Get a choke chain for him, and you take like his collar size, and you get one that's that much bigger than his regular collar size. Leave it on the leash so that he knows every time he goes for a walk, that collar and leash have to go on him, right?
Okay.
The issue is for you right now is he's very young and you're just starting to work with him. He can pull out, I guarantee you, a regular collar they can pull out of in a second, especially when they're young and dumb. Get that choke chain, doesn't hurt him. You just snap it like your cousin's telling you. Snap it up and he'll pay attention. If that doesn't work, you tap him. Okay, but that back up, and they can't get out of that choke chain. Okay, so like if they saw a squirrel and he takes off after the squirrel, you jerk him back, he's not going to be able to get out of that. Okay, a person comes up to you and he doesn't like that person and he goes after him, he can get out of a regular collar, I guarantee it. Choke chain, he's not gonna. And you snap it back and you tell him no. I had only one dog, and I've had many dogs. We've always had 2 at least since I was like 7 years old, and I'm 63 now. And I've always, most of the time, had 3. And at one time, I even had 7. Okay, because I had a big place right on the farm. I had one dog that refused to work with a choke or any kind of collar, and I had to get him the prong collar. But that also has like rounded nubs on it.
Yeah.
He was 85 pounds. He was a Catahoula leopard dog, which are bullheaded and stubborn. I had another one before, but it was a female, was a little bit smaller. when I take him for walks in town, and we're in a little rural town, one main street, right? And walking down, and he lunged at somebody, not to get after them, but because he wanted attention. I basically pulled my shoulder out of joint because I pulled and he wouldn't do it. So I went again, and he had a prong, and I pulled and he flipped backwards onto the cement. That was it. I never had a problem with him again. I didn't even have to tell him anything. I just show him the collar, and immediately he would settle. So not a prong collar for this one, but I would definitely get a choke chain.
Okay.
And that's the reason they call it choke, because it slips.
Okay.
Okay, because you can release it, and it's loose on them. If they're not doing what they're supposed to, you just make it a little tighter. And they'll learn because they don't want it tight, but it's not hurting them. I guarantee you it's not. People think they do not. I taught for years, and I've trained many dogs and horses, for that matter, that had the same type of a thing for their bits. So there's different ways to work with them. But if you get a choke chain, every time he wants to go for a walk, you show him what you're doing and you put it on. I'm telling you, after a couple times, and you're probably going to have to ring on it a couple times, but once you do it, he's going to like, whoa, what was it? What was that? You know? Yeah. And then every time a bad behavior comes, you yank on that, same thing. Okay, he'll learn. Okay. Don't leave it on him all the time, though, because in the house or whatever, because they can get stuck on stuff, and it's not good. But yeah, get a choke chain.
Okay.
Like I said, about 2 inches, 3 inches bigger than, I'd say, about 2 inches, 2.5 inches longer than his regular collar. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, I love you, girl. You have a good day. Tell Mom I said